Alright, I had several people ask exactly what does it entail to extract honey. Well, not after spending several hours out with the bees, robbing them of what they have done all spring long, not very happy in a lot of cases. Then we come back into an area that is hot because cold honey doesn't come out of comb, and then we start this process. The boxes that we collected, and this is just part of what I've got left. We get set up, and then the first part we do is go to an uncapping area. That's where we actually cut the exterior cappings off the comb using one of several different methods. We got a hot knife there from Pierce Bee Company, fillet knife, a little fork spatula to get the low areas that didn't draw out beyond the comb. Some people use the rollers. It's all personal preference. And then this right here will be all the cappings, or part of the cappings, that's left from the last extractions, letting the honey drain out of those. And once they drain, they'll go down into a collection bucket. Once we get to my situation, 9 deep frames capped, we'll take it and bring them over to the extractor. Now the extractor is a device that's got a wheel on the inside of it that actually rotates, and it spins the honey out of the frames up against the wall. From the wall it drains down to the bottom of the tank, and from the bottom of the tank we have another bucket that will collect it. Now at this point nothing's been strained, nothing's been filtered, anything like that. Got to keep full on it to keep the bees out of it. Then we'll have buckets filled with honey. And from those buckets, we'll take it, and this is the filtration that the honey gets. That catches the wax, any bee parts that are in there, and that's all it is. That's 100% pure honey. There's no filters, anything like that it runs through. There's no pasteurization. It's pure honey. And then from there, we'll take it and dump the strained buckets over into a bottling tank. And then the last step, which I'll get some video of, we'll be putting them into jars. But I'm gonna set this up so you can see the whole process, and we'll let you see the whole thing. Let the hot knife warm up real quick. It doesn't have to be an electric hot knife. Some people just use a regular honey knife. Some people use a bakery knife. Some use a fillet knife. Everybody has their own preferences. I like getting started without honey all over everything. That doesn't last long. I use mainly deeps, and that is a pretty frame of honey there. Knocking off anything that's on the corners just makes it easier for the hot knife to go through. feel that the knife is hot. I always like to let gravity work with me, so we start at the top. Start cutting down. Capping will take it and fall over in the tank, and they'll drain. And then the rest of them will come out of the cone with the extractor. And yes, there's always bees flying around while you're doing this right here. Trying to keep them out of the garage all the weekend long. Gotta have a little air moving around. That was a pretty good cone right there. There's no spots that the knife didn't get. The bees drew this one out beyond the wooden frame. Second side. These deep frames will probably yield somewhere around 6 pounds of honey each. Maybe a little bit more, sometimes less, just depends on how thick the consistency. Frame earlier where you could really see the change in the color of the nectar. Depending on what's coming in at the particular time to the color and the taste. Never the same year to year. Never have the same year twice. break these loose at the rosin. end frame here. We didn't completely fill this one right here. The majority of the nectar that's in here is kept. Honey from the local beekeeper, see little pieces floating in the top of it. Well, that's just a wax particle that didn't get strained out, or it could be pollen. Now that we've got 9 frames uncapped, we're going to take it and load the extractor. Now this particular extractor right here is electric, and it was designed to do 24 medium frames, and it can do 9 deep frames, which I only use deeps for the most part for all my honey supers, and it's just a matter of getting all 3 of them in this section right here, so that they sit, so they don't get moved around during extraction. So we'll just take it and work these frames down in all 3 sections, and then we will start seeing the fruits of the labor. extractor is loaded. All extractors have a safety device. Most of them have it where it's required to have the lid down. Some people do remove it, but the safety device is still on this extractor here. They can prove to the machine that the lid is down and closed. Turn this on. Always start off slow, and then they just slowly increase the speed to make sure that you don't have a frame that's going to slip out of the groove. Don't want to damage the extractor. Take it and I'll go up with them slowly. Let some of the weight get out of the frames as the honey starts. And then I'll increase it as we go along. Then I actually take it and spin mine in the opposite direction too for a while. And while this right here is spinning, we'll take it and start uncapping more frames so we can reload it. You can see the cappings, the ones we just took out and put in the extractor, and already it started draining. The cappings contain a whole lot of honey. Don't want to waste any of it, so we'll let it drain in this bucket, and then we'll strain that one later. Alright, now this has been running for about 10 minutes or so, and there is the fruits of your labor. Love seeing that golden nectar. It is some kind of good. People talk about liking one type of honey over the other. I want to show you these frames right here. All right, this frame I just uncapped. That's this year's frame, so that's brand new wax, brand new nectar. And in the same box, about 2 or 3 frames beyond it, is that one right there. And you can see that was one of this year's frames, brand new wax, and the difference in the nectar that the bees were bringing in, this is so much darker than that one right there. And yes, the honey will have a different taste to it. And I'm not in a situation where I can separate these to offer up light and dark honey. But your bigger commercial beekeepers and all, they can separate it and sell different types. Mine will get extracted all into the same tank, into the same bucket. Alright, now that these have spun, if everything went like it was supposed to, these frames will be a whole lot lighter. And all the honey extracted out of it. And there's again some pollen that was in that frame there. load these back up in the boxes, and we'll take it and set it back out in the near area of the bees and let them clean it up. They'll put the honey back into their hives for them to use. And then we will store these frames to give them back for next year. And all they will have to do is put nectar back in. I was told when I started beekeeping, you can see this right here was a 2023 frame. So they drew all that wax and filled it with nectar honey. But I was told it takes 7 pounds of nectar to make 1 pound of wax. So as a beekeeper, I want the bees making honey with the nectar and not wax. So as much wax as I can give them back, and that will mean increase in honey production, or should be increase in honey production. We never know what the year is going to provide. For next year. Some of these frames that have some brood or something in it, they'll get used for swarm traps. For next year, they're all bees, trap on bees. And then the process starts all over again. They'll load the extractor, let it be spinning while we're uncapping more frames, and the cycle just continues.